nice Wednesday morning, midweek, so I decided to put a little practical joke right there. Impress you guys, you know, that's what I'm here for. I'm Rachel Delmar and welcome to another day of Health Central. For the past 3 days, we've been featuring body awareness and movement, and we've been getting in touch with our inner selves. And yesterday, we started moving to the music. Now, for those of you who weren't able to catch the past 3 shows, worry not, because being what we are, we aim to please, we're gonna give you a few lessons in what we've learned. So, let's start off the morning. Again, we meet our special guests for all this week, Riza and Mike. How are you guys today?
Good.
Very good. So on the first day, we actually discussed the basic of body movement and awareness.
Yeah, the movement of contraction and expansion, which is the inhaling and exhaling as well.
Yes, and on the second day, which was yesterday, we learned about spirituality of the body.
Which is allowing the spirit, the vital force, to move the body naturally.
Okay, and for today, we're going to be dealing with life waves. For those people out there, what exactly is life wave?
Okay, life waves is a word that I coined to depict the 7 stages of life, which is in the womb, prenatal. So there we already have life and we already have movement. Then you have birth, so that's the baby, the cycle of the baby. Then you have the child when she's or he is up and about. Then we have puberty or adolescence. And the 5th one is adulthood. Then we have maturity, the elderly, and then transition, which is already passing away, which has an altogether different energy.
Okay, so even if you've passed away, there's still another energy floating.
I believe so.
So something like reincarnation, not necessarily.
Something like spirit.
Oh, okay.
Because spirit lives forever, and even after this life, I believe that there's spirit movement.
Okay, so is this a takeoff from what you learned from your teachers?
Yes.
You conduct workshops about life waves, right?
I do. And besides bioenergetics and yoga and all these things I learned, 2 teachers influenced me most. And these are somebody from the East and somebody from the West. My Eastern teacher is named Prapto, and he moves with nature, so there's no music. There's only stillness. Whereas my other teacher, Gabrielle Roth, does a lot of cathartic movement, and she makes us move the 5 rhythms of life, which I have incorporated and integrated in my work. And I like it because when you first move the different stages, then eventually, ultimately, you go into stillness, which is the movement of spirit.
So do you find that you use the teachings of your Indonesian teacher more, or the other one, or do you like incorporate both?
Yeah, both of them.
So most people incorporate both. So you start out with no music and then put a little music later, or you start out with music and then you eventually
Well, I always start with music except for the transition, which is silence.
Silence.
But there are also some music that depicts the silence.
Okay, and you were saying Gabrielle Roth. He's a Western urban shaman, right? She. So Gabrielle, what is a shaman?
Well, a shaman is a healer through movement, through dance. And what a shaman would do is to dance and dance and dance and go into ecstasy, so that she or he goes into another world, and from there does the healing.
Is it the same concept as, like, you know, the rain dance and all that?
I suppose so.
Because it has more or less the same music, like the drums, the beat, and the outfit of Mike here. He's got like all these things that he's gathered from around the world.
Mike would know that because he goes all around the Philippines and study the movements of the tribes.
I was asking him, his vest is from vegan, his skirt from Malaysia, and some of those things he has, the trinkets, are actually from Paris. So I told him, does it have like a certain healing effect? He said sometimes he strings them out and puts them back in, and it's some way to relieve stress. There you have it, a primer on life waves, and when we come back, we'll get into details about the 7 stages of life waves, so don't miss this. Hi, we're back. And with me are Mike and Riza. We're going to be discussing the 7 stages of life. The 7 stages are prenatal, birth, childhood, puberty, adulthood, maturity, and transition. We're going to be discussing the 7 stages. Riza here will provide the first 3, while Mike and I will provide the sound effects. Mike, you want to pass me a drum? Yeah. And we're going to start from the very beginning, starting with prenatal. Okay? Thank you, Riza.
Okay, so the movement in prenatal is just like the movement that I did on the first day, which is pulsation.
Pulsation.
Contracting, expanding, because that's the movement inside the womb. Inhaling, exhaling, heartbeat.
That's pulsation, inhaling, and exhaling to the heartbeat.
The beginning of life, the beginning of movement.
The beginning of life is the beginning of movement.
And then comes birth, when everything is just flowing. If you will notice, babies, when they come out and when they're just there, their bodies are like balls, circular. So the movement of flowing is circular.
The movement is circular. Babies are like little balls. Circular movements. You make circles with your body parts. Flowing movements.
Just become like a ball.
Become like a ball. And roll. Flowing. Circular movements. Now we move on to childhood. The child has staccato movements. Few angular movements. Staccato movements characteristic of a child. Angular, with a sigh of relief. There you have it, the first 3 stages. The first one being the prenatal, the birth, and the childhood. When we come back, Riza is going to show us more of the other 7 stages. The remaining ones are puberty, adulthood, maturity, and transition. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Health Central. Earlier before the break, we covered the 3 stages among the 7, which are prenatal, birth, and childhood. Now we're going to move on to puberty, adulthood, transition, and maturity. So Riza, could you please show us puberty?
First, I'd like to describe each one. Puberty is chaotic movement. That's when you have identity crisis. You don't know if you're masculine, feminine. So it's both circular, which is feminine, and angular, which is masculine. Then we move on to lyrical. From the heaviness of puberty, the movement becomes lighter. So more mature, more joyful, more of air rather than fire. Then we move on to stillness, which is more of soul movement again, and on to transition. So with puberty, from flowing,
so puberty is
and
flowing,
staccato, then you combine flowing and staccato, and you have chaotic or puberty.
combining staccato, making it chaotic. This is puberty.
So this is the shamanic movement.
Now, this is the shamanic movement that she was talking about
The
earlier.
American Indians of the tribe.
It's very American Indian and characteristic. Puberty,
And lighter
she goes lighter and lighter.
into maturity.
We now have maturity.
Air. Wind.
The elements of air,
Lyrical.
wind, very lyrical in nature. A lot more calmer than puberty.
Like tango and waltz.
Like tango and waltz, very distinctive difference from puberty.
Slower and slower into stillness or maturity.
Now this is maturity. As you can see, it's very still compared to everything else.
Inner movement.
Comprising mostly of inner movements. This is maturity. It's very still. And from stillness into silence, transition, which is the last stage. There you have it. The 7 stages of life. That was so calming. I'm sure you guys out there are pretty much relieved of any such tension. I have a question, Riza. I noticed that for each different stage, you had a different music. I noticed that music helped, I'm not even doing the movement, and yet I'm getting relaxed with just the music alone. So would you say music has a very important role in movement?
Music on the outside, yes, but it's really the vibration.
It's mostly
And, you know, the 7 stages is a whole process. Like, for example, if I watch a baby, when a baby is hungry, it goes like, it flows, no? It cries, and then after a while, it goes staccato because he's really so hungry, so it's wah, wah, wah. And then if you don't give milk right away, then she goes or he goes into chaotic. And then the moment you give the milk, it's stillness.
They calm down.
Yeah, they calm down. It's lyrical, and then they go to sleep. And it's the same with making love. You go flowing, and then after a while you go staccato, and could be chaotic, and you reach the peak, and then you go lyrical, and into stillness.
And even the drumming, for example,
Yeah, so everything
it goes through certain stages.
Right.
So that's why it's called life waves. It goes through
because
different
that's the whole
stages.
process of life. And if we're able to move all this process, health is more possible because then you will be able to adjust to any kind of frequency as you go through life.
And just knowing about the different stages makes it easier to understand the different life waves.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, Riza, for showing us the 7 different stages in life: prenatal, birth, childhood, puberty, adulthood, maturity, and finally, transition. When we come back, we'll give you more of Riza and Mike. Don't go away. cry. We just showed everyone here the 7 different stages in life as demonstrated by Riza with matching background music supplied by Mike. We'd like to find out a little more, just a little more bitsy details. Like, for example, me. Out of the 7 stages, I mean, that's prenatal, birth, childhood, puberty, adulthood, maturity, and transition. I'm in maturity. Not. Okay, so do you find that you have to sometimes, you know, to improve your health and for the whole approach, do you find that some people actually have to take a step backwards to be able to move forwards? Because you know how, like, when some people cry, most of the time, or when you're like really hurting, like you have a bad headache, or you have a bad, especially a stomach ache, or you're like some whatever, some pain, we get into fetal position. So is it necessary to go back?
Yes, that's what regression is all about. You go back to the childhood, the movements of the childhood, because maybe when you were a child, you stored so much negative emotions there, like fear or anger, so you would need to release that in movement. And when you're in touch with your center, with your spirit, and once you're in the space of spirit, then everything's okay.
Thank you very much. So for those of you that just joined us, see, you still learned a thing or two right before we ended. So we want to know how you feel. Write to us at howfeelyou@hotmail.com, and we'll answer your questions soon enough, and maybe even if you get lucky, read your letters on air. So we'd like to thank you very much, Riza and Mike. Thank you for joining us again today. We're going to have you tomorrow again. This is Rachel Del Mar. You're watching Health Central. Make us a part of your daily habit. Don't forget, Monday to Friday, 10 to 10:30 a.m., ABC 5. Never, never forget, health is wealth. Hello and good morning to everybody. I'm Rachel Del Mar and you're watching Health Central. It's great to be the first show here on ABC 5. This is our 4th day of our Body Awareness and Movement Day. And with me is our special guest, Riza. Riza, thank you very much for joining us for the 4th day in a row. We're learning so much from you.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, Riza, our topic for today is classical movement. Now, a lot of us have taken the classical ballet. Like, I took classical ballet for 5 years, and a lot of my friends had to do that. It's like every young girl practically did classical ballet. Actually, even some of the males did some classical ballet. Now, we want to know, how is classical ballet different from classical movement?
Well, actually, this aspect of free movement, I just call classical because I use a lot of classical music. And classical music for me has very high frequency. When I say high frequency, it's like among the colors, the highest frequency is violet because it's way up the scale.
Oh, I thought it was your favorite color because you wore violet last Monday as well.
Yeah, also.
Okay.
So when we move to classical music, it's like soul movement.
Soul movement.
I call it soul movement because it's very lyrical.
Okay, and aside from the high frequency, what else comprises the classical movement?
There are 3 elements in this kind of movement. So you listen to the music and you watch out for pitch, beat, and range. So pitch is the note high or low.
Yeah.
So so your body moves up when it's high, it goes down when it's low. Then beat has to do with the feet and the legs. That's how you tune into the beat.
It
And
can either be like fast,
or slow.
fast.
Is it slow or fast?
Okay.
Then the third one is range. So is the tune long? Is the note long? Or is it short?
Okay,
So your body goes with it. So when you're moving to music, you practice your art of listening.
So it actually makes you sensitive to all three without even noticing it. Your body just kind of takes over by paying attention to pitch, range,
beat,
and
and range.
Very good. So we've heard a little about classical movement. When we come back, Riza's going to show us how to move in a classical way. Hi, you're watching Health Central, and before we got into the break, I promised you guys that there'd be some classical movements shown by our guest for the week, Riza Regis. Riza, I'm going to sit there and enjoy all the classical movement going on. Meantime, the floor is all yours.
Okay. So I'll start with the basic movement, which is again walking. But this time, the walking has three parts. It's lifting your feet, and then feeling your way around it, and then stepping. So lift, carry, step. And at the same time, I'll do it with my breath. So I'll inhale, hold, exhale, inhale, hold, exhale, inhale, hold, exhale. And I'll do it with the music, okay? This has a connection with being aligned, like I'm thinking, I'm feeling, I'm doing. I'm thinking, I'm feeling, I'm doing. So you would need to be really aware and listen to the beat, pitch, and range of the music. Okay? So the second element is pitch. You don't have to, you can just walk this way as long as you're doing the lifting, the carrying, the inhaling, the exhaling. And pitch has to do with, is the note high? In which case, if the note is high, you go forward and up. If it's low, you go backward and down. Okay, so we'll try that with the music. And I'll only focus on pitch. Down. It's going up, going down. It's going up, down, up, down, down, up, down. So next we'll focus on beat. Beat has to do with the fastness or slowness of the music. And this has also to do with feet and legs. Okay? So at the same time that I'm going to do beat, I'll also be aware of pitch, and I'm going to incorporate pitch with beat. Okay?
Dreams are nothing more than wishes, and a wish is just a dream, wish to come true.
So that's beat. And the next element of this movement is range. So it's just like contraction and expansion. Is the note long or expanding, or is it short or contracting? So at the same time, I'm going to do pitch and beat as well, plus the range. And while moving, I'm just empty. I'm like a rag doll following, or an atom following the frequency of the music. So it's expanding. Expanding, contracting, expanding. Okay.
We're back, and you've seen Riza do some classical movement. Now I think I'm ready to try some. Riza?
Okay. First, the image is that you are a leaf falling
Okay.
and just going with the flow.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll keep that
So
in mind.
while you're flowing, you're walking, and you are listening to the pitch. So you're a leaf. As the pitch goes up, you go up. As it goes down, you go down. And the beat, you're going with the beat. At the same time, you're going with the range. Okay?
Okay.
So we'll try it with this different kind of music.
Okay. We start off first with the pitch.
Yeah, with the walking.
Okay. Okay.
And then all together, the pitch, beat, and the rhythm.
Okay.
All together.
All right.
Okay?
So for those of you who are wondering where can you possibly get music like this, you can go through the CDs of your mom and dad, or even your grandparents, or your oldest brothers and sisters. And if not, like for a love affair, you can pop in the tape if you don't have the CD and wait for the end credits and listen to the music and do the classical movement that we're about to do right now.
Okay.
Of course, watch for more.
So feel it already. Okay. Up, down, yes. It's becoming big. Small, small. Small, medium, small. Breathe. You're a leaf.
I'm a leaf.
Big, expand, contract. Expand, contract, up, down, up. Good.
Relax, that was good. And when we come back, we'll find out exactly how those types of movements, the classical way, can actually heal. Don't go away. Did you like that? Well, you know, the funny thing is I was like feeling still a little bit, you know, like maybe like not too sure about what I was doing and thinking, okay, I shouldn't do the classical ballet that I know of. And then later on it just started to flow, especially when we were doing, you know, the dance together, you know. I guess connection, movement, and you said, you know, like interaction with other people helps a lot.
You know why? As I said, it was soul movement. So after a while, when you stop thinking and you just did the flow, then our energies merged.
And our energies actually stretched out because even
Yeah.
our director and our camera people were like, had a tear in their eye. We moved them. We succeeded.
Because that's the power of the energy.
Power of energy. That's right. Energy really, you know, collects and
heals.
spreads. That's right.
It heals.
So, like how, in what way can this cure?
Okay, so first of all, when you put your psyche in motion, not only the body, but the emotion, the mind, then you open up the channels for the flow of energy. And this energy is really spiritual healing. You've heard of pranic healing, of acupuncture, of even those slain by the spirit. So these are all energy that's very powerful. And you take that in and you allow it to flow to your body. So all the toxins are released. And in a layman's point of view, music is really healing, especially music like higher vibration music like the classical music. So when you listen to music, you feel good.
Actually, you do have a point there. Like, even like babies, they say, like while they're still in the tummy, and even like when they're newly born, if you make them listen to classical music, it not only heals them, but it actually makes them smarter
Right.
for some reason. Plus, like music, you guys notice how sometimes you're having a bad day and you go home or you're in your car and you put in your favorite CD and automatically things get better. It has that effect on me at least. So, and what kinds of diseases can it cure if
Well,
it has a healing factor?
strictly speaking, all kinds, because what you
Especially
heal,
stress?
yeah, because what you heal is the person, the soul, the spirit of the person. Spirit meaning vital force. When I say spirit, I don't want to go into dogma or religious matters, but
like
spirit of
the glass and all that. No, that's not what we're talking about.
Spirit of the Coke. Like when the Coke has no
When
longer
the minute you open the bottle cap and
and space,
spirit comes out, that
yeah,
kind of spirit, people.
yeah,
Not
the
the spirit as in Halloween
vitality,
spirit.
yeah, vitality.
Mhm.
So
The spirit
when
that comes from within.
you experienced it, like
yes.
after a while, it was just moving you. You didn't have to do anything, right?
Yeah, especially when we were doing it together. And for all the people out there, what do they have to keep in mind when they do actually try to go for the movement exercise,
Well,
the classical movement?
First of all is just to relax, and as I instructed you to think. Just think that you're a leaf, or you're a baby, or you're a rag doll, or you're a conductor, and you're just following the beat, the pitch, the tune, and you become music itself.
Just let the music take you.
Mm-hmm. That's what is called the dance takeover. The dance takes over.
Yeah, that's why sometimes you go to a club and you see on the dance floor a lot of people just going, that's the dance taking over. And sometimes you wish the dance wouldn't take over. But in this type of dancing, this type of movement, classical movement, by all means, let the dance take over.
It's also a very good form of communication. Like, you like this, you want to try that? We'll be communicating through movement and music.
Okay, we can do that, but I want a love affair. I like that song. I think I will be able to relate.
So pretend that I'm not me, I'm just your lover. You want that?
Okay.
And that you're just expressing to me whatever it is that you want to express to me.
That's gonna take a lot of pretending because I don't have a boyfriend.
Oh, you don't?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so what's the thing that you love
No,
most?
that's okay. Theater. I like theater.
Okay, so theater. This is your work in the
Okay.
theater.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay, so let's listen to this. And also when the music is quieter, then you feel it in your...
Movements are more like slower.
So you move from there. You can really go down. I can even go down.
We'll see you guys next week. Don't forget, see you tomorrow. How feel you? Write to us. I'm sure you'll have comments, questions, and our suggestions. Write to us at howfeelyou@hotmail.com. Thank you for watching our movement, classical movement for today. We'd like to thank you again, Riza, for joining us.
My pleasure.
And stay at home, watch the show, and meantime, you can do some classical movements on your own. Till then, we'll catch you tomorrow. Don't forget, 10 to 10:30, Monday to Friday, right here at ABC 5.